Hey folks, and welcome to the latest installment of Dave's Impressions. This time around, The Outer Worlds, not to be confused with The Outer Wilds, which I also covered this year. These impressions were taken from playing the game for around 1 hour and 30 minutes. Enjoy! I like the vibe of The Outer Worlds. I don't want to use the word satirical because I don't think that's accurate, but there's a playful quality to the game's tone that's evident right in the premise. The idea of corporations owning everything taken to a ridiculous extreme. An example being that when I talked to a worker outside the first town, they asked me to retrieve late payment from a few of the town's citizens. What were they late in paying? The rental fee for the grave plots that they will one day be buried in. Let that one sink in. There's a fascinating morality I had a brief encounter with. The first big quest I came across was kicked off by the mayor who runs the town. He asked me to get the power source to run my ship from the camp that houses deserters, people who have left their positions in town and at the cannery. Ultimately, he wants the deserters back and thinks that removing their protection from outside elements is the best way to make them return. After that, I talked to the town's preacher. He tells me that if I really care about saving the most lives in this scenario, I'll do everything in my power to try and make the deserters see reason. This may save lives, but ignores why they deserted in the first place. This shocked me, as my initial position when going off to talk to the deserters was, screw the corporation. Talking to the preacher gave me pause, thinking that things aren't as simple as I thought they were going to be. In the character creator, I noticed that every stat is tied to combat in some way. Since everything I saw of this game made it look like a modern take on Fallout New Vegas, I thought, I'm going to play this like I would play a Fallout game. So as my two dominant skill groups, I chose dialogue and leadership, the ability to talk myself out of situations, and the ability to rally people to my cause, though I imagine leadership is about getting the most out of your teammates. Of the idea that every stat is tied to combat and that this game's primary mode of action is combat, that's not necessarily a negative. I found the combat quite punchy. I enjoyed it not only because of the time dilation, how that compensates for how horribly I aim with the controller, but the fights themselves are thrilling. I like the combos that can be executed with melee weapons, and the simple action of popping off shots with a gun feels satisfying. Near the end of my time with the game, I didn't want to stop playing for many reasons, but one of them was the enjoyment of killing off bands of marauders before searching out the abandoned houses they were holed up in and looting them to my heart's content. The main reason I wanted to keep playing was that I was traveling on my way to the deserter camp to talk to their leader Adelaide. I had to leave the first big choice in the game unresolved. I didn't get to hear the other side of the story. Looking up the average completion time on howlongtobeat.com, I was shocked to find it was a median of 15 hours. This seems short for a Fallout-esque RPG, considering Obsidian's gamography. Perhaps there are so many ways to play the game, so many divergent paths to take, that the game's short length favors replayability. Hey, as long as the game doesn't wear out its welcome, an all too common problem in the medium, I don't care how short or long it is. So, should you play The Outer Worlds? Well, are you in the mood for a spiritual sequel to Fallout New Vegas set in space about the dangers of corporate control? Obsidian have had the development time needed to make this game look and run great. It's a little more combat focused than I expected, but the conversations and use of skills to explore the world are not neglected. As always, I'd love to hear what you think about The Outer Worlds down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, why not buy me a coffee? There's a link in the description. If you'd like to help me out in other ways, please give the video a like, share it on your favorite social media sites, or subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I hope you're all having a wonderful day.